Hello, everyone. Can we hear each other?
Hello.
Aswin, can we hear you? I think you're muted.
Now you can hear you.
Fantastic. So we can go on. Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to the next conversation. We're going to be talking about the future of user experience design. We're going to be staying in, actually, in the very same area that our previous speakers just discussed. It was all about the praise of AI, and we're going to keep on praising AI, I guess, but we'll see. I'm Maria Achinger, and I'm joined here today with two fantastic people. We have Aswin Ranganathan from Delivery Hero. He's a design manager and he's very much well-versed in Gen AI. And we have Patrycja Rozmus from Zalando. She's head of product design, basically. It's great to have you, and hello both again, once again.
Hello.
Hello. Thank you for the introduction.
So instead of going into details of how your career developed, I was thinking of kicking off the conversation with something slightly different, a warm-up question. Basically, I want to ask you about your inspiration. What inspires you in your everyday work, in your domain, starting with Patrycja?
So I will say people. That's really straightforward and obvious, maybe for many UXers and designers. I'm a leader for many years, so it's like two-dimensional, not only customers but also team members, stakeholders, like entire organization, and yeah, learning from each other, inspiring each other. So that's I think the most important thing, and that inspires me the most. And play with those people.
Like that. Like the addition of play. Aswin, what gets you going in your work?
Well, honestly, I had a different answer in mind, but I like Patricia's answer better. So I'm just stealing it somehow. No, actually, what I had in mind was that I like the process of problem solving. And I especially I have a bit of a programmer mindset to think of repeatable ways to solve the same problems, to create like more of a structure or a formula. So this really excites me at my job. And yeah, of course, the amazing people that I work with, it really keeps things a lot more exciting to come to speak with them, to learn with them, and to solve with these people is what keeps me here. So I think that summarizes why I like this job.
We have people, we have play, we have great processes. Everybody keeps on asking the very same question. In the face of AI, do we still need this or that profession? And I want to ask you guys the very same question. And I know that Patrycja is very big on this. So if you could just tell our audience if we still need human designers.
Well, yes. Short answer is yes. Panel close. We don't need to talk further. Just joking. But yeah, I think we need humans, and UX is more critical than ever, I would say, because we can actually actively create the future and maybe try to change the course of the future that won't be favorable to humanity. So we, as people that create solutions from industry to digital, might impact those solutions to have still the human in the center. Because what is UX at its core? It's thinking about human centricity. It like at the beginning, our field was even called human factors. Not many people remember that, but yeah, it started from this. So keeping the human still in the center can prevent us from getting to the future where there is no humans. Because yeah, everybody I've heard praising AI, but actually there is a possibility that we will end up in Matrix scenario, and even the futurists, when they are looking into possible futures, have this like post-human future where we only have intelligence, which can be artificial, can be built on human, but we don't have bodies. And this is actually what futurists are thinking about. The other possibility is we are having this augmented humans by artificial intelligence, but different path we can take as a humanity is more sustainable path, so more reflective one, and the one that can save humans actually. So keeping that in mind, putting the human in the center at all times, it's really important, and this is our job. And what other thing that is at the core of UX or designers is bringing creativity, bringing art, bringing beauty to the equation. So we still need those capabilities. Although when it comes to creativity and innovation, AI can serve us, but we as humans can have this creativity that is not based on remixes like AI is doing, but more like leaning into the source, so to speak. Yeah, I'm very on a high sea right now for starters.
I'm with you. I'm with you totally. But I know that we're going to balance it pretty soon with Ashwin's take on the AI augmented design. But I'm totally with you. I mean, we're human and we're the source of creativity. Well, we can start a very different conversation on and a metaphysical one, but we're not gonna dive into that just yet. So, Ashwin, who's a modern day designer then?
Yeah, so I think the way to look at it is the fundamental role of any designer, modern day or the designers who they were before, is still like to solve user problems, like to keep the user at the front, like Patrycja was saying. So I think that aspect of like our role is still the same and will always be relevant, regardless of how we solve problems. But then, like I've been seeing, like tactically, a lot of shift has been happening in the opportunities of way we solve those problems, especially nowadays with AI, nowadays with like what ways we can create like solutions for users has been evolving a lot. And that's what I've been exploring, like in everything that I share online, is that like what are these new opportunities that designers can now leverage, right? Like I mean, we could like touch on like agents or voice UX, at like different ways that is now available, and users can tap into more aspects of an individual's life to influence, to automate, which never existed before. And these sort of opens up new ways of thinking in solutions for designers. And this is the how we solve problems that has evolved. So that's kind of how a modern day UX designer can start looking at these new solution spaces. But fundamentally, our role still stays the same, which is we look at how to solve user problems and basically look for them, solve it in the most delightful way.
Would you say that a modern day product owner, product designer, design manager is still a very same profession?
Yeah, so a modern, as in like I'm talking about the short-term modern, like I don't know what it's going to be like super far away in the future. That might be a completely different topic. But I think, yes, a modern day designer is someone who actually embraces AI and expands their creation or expands their problem solving to more areas of the user, right? So I think that's how I would define it. Like the to embrace the possibilities that AI brings, and to maximize like the opportunities that it brings would be what a modern designer would be to me. But in the longer term, with like general AI and with like AI taking up way more roles than like AI acting autonomously and making more decisions, and these decisions being correct, that's a completely different future. It's very hard to tell what's going to happen, like 5 or 10 years down the line. But I think for the near short term, it's like the designer kind of who embraces AI as much as possible would be a modern day designer.
And Patrycja, do you see any changes right now to the way you lead people or to the way you approach things, problems, I don't know, workloads, changes that would require in the future a significant shift in describing the role?
Maybe not in day-to-day, let's say, feedbacks or professional development. This is not happening, but in some fields, I would say, especially in content design, I would say it's visible that we are already custodians of AI generated content. And this is, I think, this is going to be a typical role for UX designer, for a human designer, to be like a manager of AI that is working for us more and more independently, but we will still curate what it generates to achieve better excellence, to prevent harmful stereotypes, for example. And this is something that for sure is happening for content design. Yeah.
Responsible custodians, sensitive custodians, right?
Yeah.
At least for now, we'll see what will happen 5 years from now, 2 years from now.
Yeah, so I can go back to this notion that we still need humans because we have something unique, which is empathy, creativity, and taste for beauty. So also on this level, not only sensitive and empathetic custodian, but also someone who has taste and who can choose.
Yeah, and a unique life story. This is something artificial intelligence doesn't have yet. Let's dive into details. I was thinking of talking about the details of the actual change in your everyday work. We heard in the previous discussion a lot of talk about ideation, about how AI helps brainstorming. I don't know, what's your take, Aswin? How has AI changed your work up until now?
Yeah, so I've been exploring AI in a few fronts. So one is I've been like trying to teach like designers how they can start building products with AI. So I think this is kind of a very interesting shift that's happening in terms of designers' tool sets, or like designers' ability to create things. If you look at the past, from when I started design to like where I am now, we started off with these like paper sketches to prototype things. But now we have like more realistic Figma prototypes with which we can learn like insights. So naturally we are heading towards this trend where like the more realistic the prototype is, or the more realistic the product is, the more insights we get. So I strongly believe that like the more closer we can get to building, the better insights, better resources a designer has to to design for someone. And like the way the things are shifting, I feel like the cost of like building software is going down a lot. Like to build software is now extremely easy. You can just go to Bolt and just say, okay, I want to like build a software for XYZ, and it's already ready. So the question is, why not? Like we should, as designers, be like looking into how can we be more like create something that is more tangible, more usable. And that's where I think we are kind of heading towards.
Speed. No code. We're going to have a session on no code a little bit later today. I'm thinking about the drawbacks. We rarely talk about the drawbacks. Do you guys want to touch on the topic?
Well, yeah, unhinged AI can have multiple drawbacks if there is no human in the loop, and this curation, let's say. So it can give the false information because AI for now hallucinates. So it can harm customers in physical ways, a psychological way. And through that, it can harm companies and businesses from legal standpoint, from financial economic standpoint as well. So yeah, this is a drawback for sure. I already mentioned harmful cultural stereotypes, and the quality, which is for now average when it comes to something that AI generates. So we are not there yet that AI will create something equal to human when it comes to production ready, let's say design for sure, and even in the content. Yeah. So, and it's also like the big drawback is if we will rely on AI too much, it can result in us losing the intentionality in what is happening, what we are designing.
And I know that you have strong opinions, Aswin, on us being or not being 100% ready to embrace AI tools in design, right? Would that summarize your point of view?
Yeah, I think so. The day-to-day AI tools that we use is, those ChatGPT, Claude. These are all like general models. And of course, it has no context of your what you're working on, the tests or the internal organizational data and all of that stuff. So, of course, it's gonna produce like general stuff that is based on trained patterns. So the chances of it being usable is like very low. And of course, we need more specific trained models to start producing anything usable to begin with. And yes, I think one of the drawbacks is to start thinking, to start relying on this a lot more and remove critical thinking out of the picture, right? That's going to be, I think, the biggest issue with this. That if designers start to just trust the output of it and just completely not critically think the output and try to evaluate if this is actually considering the inputs that are needed for this situation, or like if it is actually solving the problem and understanding where it's falling short, these critical insights are still required. So when designers tend to overlook it, then I think it brings more problems than solutions.
Yeah. We have a question from the audience, and I'm thinking it's an interesting one. It might be an interesting one to everyone watching. It's interesting to me. What are your thoughts? Future day designer, are they a generalist or a specialist?
Depends if this future is close or far from now, because this is actually a paradox. Like right now, we have a focus on generalists. After that, there is a lot of talk around design engineers. So this is like quite specialists, I would say. But it combines front end and design. So is it specialist or generalist, or like different kind of generalists? But if we think about those types of designers as specialists, then this generalist UXer will come back when AI will start producing, like building websites almost on their own. Like it will be much more autonomous, and we will again need this human factor UX strategies that will control it. So like it depends when this future is happening.
You want to chip in, Aswin?
Yeah, I have a very, very similar take, right? I mean, it could be both, but I think we kind of could look at it in terms of like job opportunities, or in terms of designers following their passion. So I think one aspect is that like I feel like when when it becomes much more easier to come up with like standard usable functional designs, what will be the differentiator will be the taste, or will be the personality that the design brings. So naturally that creates like an opportunity for designers to be more specialized, and be the ones creating more character to it, bringing more personality closer to what user wants. And like you could create so many variants of it. And at the same time, I think this generalist stereotype is getting a lot more popular in terms of like job opportunities, especially because of like especially in startups. I feel like, where designers can prototype or build, both are the same thing. Like they go onto a tool like Cursor, and they're just able to like create something that front-end developers can directly start use in their like development. Well, this creates another way of opportunities for organizations to be a lot more productive, and create more, because it brings more focus on engineers to start thinking about the scalability aspects, the back-end aspect, the ways to integrate the tool, or like make it work for a larger audience, while the designers focus on how to create a working application that can be tested, right? This is another like blend into a design engineering or a more generalist aspect that is also happening. So I see both trends happening online. It's really up to the designer which direction that they take, and like I'm sure like there will be like either path they choose, they will find something that they will like, and there will be opportunities, I believe.
So we have this. Sorry, yeah, go on.
If I can add, if underlying question was like, what should I do to be successful? I think that there is a lot of opportunity when it comes to the spatial design, like VR, AR, something that like started a few years ago, and this is a niche, and it's always great idea to go towards the niche, especially if you are the beginner, because you are almost at the same, like you have the same chance to be successful as a senior, because a senior would have to change a lot of things about their ways to get into this new field. So I would look into those new spheres, and even at something like BCI, so like brain-computer interaction, which is of course like getting into that, like Neuralink stuff would be a dream. But imagine being a designer that is doing that as a pioneer, and then it becomes a thing, and then we are creating designs by thoughts, or customers, users are operating interfaces with thoughts. Yeah, so that's a I think opportunity for someone who is looking for anyways.
I completely agree. I think this hyper niching can be a great opportunity. Like designer hyper specializing in like a very narrow niche that like only you can do, and you can do it really well, will always be in demand. And I think this is just about finding where you can apply your skills. And if you do find that right organization, like no one can replace you. You will be like the expert at what you're choosing to do. So yeah, I do believe, like, as Patrycja says, hyper niching, there's a lot of value there.
Thanks for adding that. Thank you so much. I think this really adds value to our conversation, especially to maybe some of the more junior designers out there who are watching us today. I wanted to ask you, so we have this AI assisted designer today, a generalist or a specialist, doesn't really matter. We have two approaches. How do they create the most delightful experiences in 2025? What is their focus? What is your focus? How do you do it? I don't know, Patrycja, how would you do it?
Okay, so like delightful design was a topic we were working on at Brainly with the team and entire organization, actually, because what Brainly was doing was personalizing experience for students with AI. So this aspect of personalization is, I believe, a big part of the delightful experience, because it brings value like that. But when it comes to value, it's not only functional. like there was this great research by Bain and company done that the value is not only functional but also emotional, life-changing, social. So yeah, me and my team were focusing on this emotional part. So through the personalization, I would add things like building a relationship with the customer, storytelling, humor, of course, the basics, intuitive and aesthetic interface, and tapping into aesthetic usability effect and our love for beauty. Yeah, so I was always paraphrasing then Sharaya Doshi, who said that for moderate results, more science; for great results, more art. So yeah, I would say that this is something to remember, especially if we think about the future and what is the distinction between us and AI. So it's good to invest there. And coming back to the devices, multi-channel experiences, because also this is a big part where the industry is going, more and more devices. So great opportunities for designers, not only from this niche perspective, but more devices, more demand for UX designers, because someone has to design it, but someone has to design it consistently and cohesively. And omni-channel journey experience is also when it's top. It's also something that is delightful for customers, and also translates to business results. And there is a lot of data to back that up. From the top of my head, it's not actually from the top of my head because I checked it before, but yeah, 90% of customers expect consistent interactions across different channels. So this is like a given, we have to do it. And when it comes to customer loyalty, customers with strong omnichannel strategies retain an average 89% of the customers, compared to 33% for companies with weak omnichannel strategies.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I was, before the panel, I was recalling my presentations, and this is something I was preaching about when it comes to delight, and I believe that this is worth investing to.
I love it that you bring up beauty. I love that. At Netguru, we like to say that we take care of beautiful software, that we build beautiful software, and it's an important part of the whole process. Not forgetting beauty. Aswin, please tell us how you make the most of AI when creating delightful experiences.
Yeah, I have a slightly different like perspective to see this from, right? I'm adding on to something that I came across recently, is how the whole product landscape is evolving. So like especially SaaS, I kind of learned that there's like a whole spectrum to look at it. On one end of the spectrum, there's like SaaS with just basic AI sprinkle features, like some Gen AI features to just generate some text or like little things. On the other side, you have like complete AI agents that completely automates like an entire customer support team, or like an entire teams within internal stuff. So I think when you put designers in this spectrum, their roles will change. Like their objectives still stays the same, but then the tools that they use to solve problems will be very different in each. When they're looking at complete agents, they're going to be looking at how these agents talk to users, how voice interaction translates to how agents understand this, how do you communicate back and forth, how like like what information do you need to extract so that the agent has sufficient information to act on it. Like these are like much different kinds of problems that designers would start to be thinking about. But it would all tie into finally what is given back to the user, and then like learning from it, and then seeing, and then feeding back into how the whole process ties together. So yeah, I think the tool sets and the way design problems are solved is evolving a lot, and like it depends on where the designer decides to work. This other end of the spectrum is an exciting space to work in. Like if you've like built something, if you tried building something like an agent on like N8N or like any automation workflow, you'll start to understand the experience of like creating an experience with that is very different, and it's exciting in its own way. Yeah. So that.
May I add to agents something funny? Because the delightful experience we might create in the future is not only human-computer interaction, so delightful for humans, but also for computers, because agent can go to the website and buy something for you, but it can't like target the button. It will be a problem. So we have to create delightful experience for
everyone.
Yeah.
For everyone. I'm afraid we have to wrap up. We have the next panel coming up just now. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me today and to join your perspectives. And I'm recommending a YouTube channel by Aswin. It's called Design by Aswin, and you'll find much more information on design and AI right in there. Thank you so much. And yeah, see you guys soon.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Pleasure.